On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, vanished from the skies without a trace. It is one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. The flight departed as normal. Weather was clear. Communications were routine. Then, somewhere over the South China Sea, the plane simply disappeared from radar. For weeks, countries around the world scoured the ocean. Satellites were analyzed. Ships and planes searched tirelessly. Yet nothing concrete was found. As days turned to months, the mystery only deepened. How could a modern aircraft with advanced tracking systems vanish in the 21st century? Was it mechanical failure, a hijacking, pilot suicide, or something even more extraordinary? Nearly a decade later, the case of MH370 remains unresolved, haunting families, baffling investigators, and inspiring theories that stretch from the plausible to the fantastical. This is the story of the plane that never landed. Part 1: The Flight, Boarding and Takeoff. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was scheduled as a red-eye flight from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, to Beijing Capital International Airport. Scheduled departure: 12:35 a.m. local time, March 8, 2014. Aircraft: Boeing 777-200ER, one of the safest and most reliable aircraft in the skies. Crew: 12. Passengers: 227, from 15 different nations. The captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, 53, was an experienced pilot with over 18,000 flight hours. The first officer, Farik Abdul Hamid, 27, was younger but competent, with about 2,700 flight hours. On board were business travelers, tourists, students, and families. 239 lives embarking on what was supposed to be an ordinary flight. At 12:41 a.m., MH370 took off. Everything appeared normal. Last normal contact. At 1:19 a.m., air traffic controllers in Kuala Lumpur instructed the plane to contact Ho Chi Minh Air Traffic Control in Vietnam. The response came, "Good night, Malaysian 370. It was the last confirmed communication from the plane. Part 2: Disappearance. Just minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the aircraft's transponder, which provides radar identification and location, stopped transmitting. The plane disappeared from civilian radar screens. Military radar, however, continued to track it for some time. What it revealed was shocking. Instead of continuing north toward Vietnam, the plane turned sharply west, then flew across the Malaysian peninsula and out toward the Andaman Sea. This was not a random failure. It appeared deliberate. By 2:22 a.m., the plane disappeared from military radar as well. Yet the Boeing 777 was equipped with another system: satellite handshakes. Even though no communications were sent, the aircraft continued to ping satellites for hours. These pings showed that MH370 flew for nearly 7 more hours after losing contact. Its final arc placed it somewhere in the remote southern Indian Ocean. And then silence. Part 3: The First Search. When MH370 failed to land in Beijing at 6:30 a.m., panic began. Families waiting in the terminal were told the plane was delayed, then missing. By 7:24 a.m., Malaysia Airlines publicly announced that it had lost contact with the aircraft. What followed was one of the largest, most expensive, and most complex search operations in aviation history. Initial confusion. At first, search efforts focused on the South China Sea, where the plane was last seen on civilian radar. Dozens of ships and aircraft scoured the waters. Nothing. Only later did military radar data reveal the strange westward turn. When the satellite pings were analyzed, the search shifted thousands of kilometers away into the vast emptiness of the Indian Ocean. Families in shock. Meanwhile, families of the 239 on board were left in agony. In Beijing, relatives cried, shouted at airline officials, and demanded answers. In Kuala Lumpur, loved ones gathered at the airport, clinging to hope. The world's media descended. For weeks, MH370 dominated headlines. Theories exploded, but the ocean yielded nothing. Part 4. The mystery deepened as false reports and hoaxes spread. Oil slick spotted turned out unrelated. Floating debris sightings proved false alarms. A supposed emergency landing in a remote location was dismissed. Day after day, hope dwindled. By late March 2014, search authorities announced with near certainty MH370 had ended its flight in the Indian Ocean. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak declared in a press conference, "It is with deep sadness and regret that I must inform you that, according to this new data, Flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean. But still, no wreckage had been found." Part 5. The region where MH370 was believed to have ended is among the most hostile and remote on Earth. Waves can reach 20 meters. Storms rage for weeks. The seabed is rugged and deep. Search ships, submarines, and sonar equipment swept the area. Yet despite hundreds of millions of dollars spent, the wreckage of MH370 remained elusive. The absence of evidence only fueled speculation. How could a massive Boeing 777, one of the most advanced planes ever built, simply vanish? Part 6. It wasn't until July 2015, more than a year later, that the first confirmed piece of MH370 was found. On the island of Réunion, east of Madagascar, a flaperon, part of the wing, washed ashore. Over the following years, more debris was discovered on islands and coastlines of the western Indian Ocean, including parts of Mozambique, Mauritius, and Tanzania. These confirmed the plane's final resting place was indeed the Indian Ocean. But the main wreckage and the black boxes, the keys to solving the mystery, have never been found. Part 7. Theories of disappearance. With no wreckage found for months, the mystery of MH370 became a breeding ground for speculation. Dozens of theories emerged, some grounded in fact, others in the wildest imagination. Let's examine the most prominent. 1. Pilot suicide theory. One of the most debated possibilities is that Captain Zahari deliberately diverted the plane and crashed it in the Indian Ocean in an act of pilot suicide. Evidence. His flight simulator at home reportedly contained a route similar to MH370's final path. The plane's westward turn was smooth and deliberate, suggesting a human hand. The "Good night, Malaysian 370" message could have been a farewell. Counterpoints. Zahari's family and friends denied he showed any signs of depression or instability. The simulator data was not conclusive. Pilots often practice hypothetical routes. Suicide theories have been used prematurely in past accidents to unfairly blame pilots. Still, many investigators consider this the most likely explanation. 2. Hijacking. Another major theory is that MH370 was hijacked. Some argue terrorists could have seized control, intending to crash the plane or fly it to a secret location. 2 Iranian men were on board using stolen passports, raising initial suspicion. But investigation revealed they were simply asylum seekers trying to reach Europe, not terrorists. No group ever claimed responsibility, which is unusual for terrorism. And no secret landing site has ever been discovered. 3. Mechanical failure/fire. Could MH370 have suffered a catastrophic failure, such as a fire, depressurization, or electrical malfunction? Some argue the crew could have been incapacitated, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until fuel exhaustion. But the deliberate turns on radar suggest at least some human intervention long after the first systems went dark. 4. Shoot-down theory. Some believe the plane was accidentally shot down by a military operation and then covered up. MH17, another Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777, was shot down over Ukraine just months later. The Indian Ocean is home to sensitive military zones. But no evidence supports this for MH370. No missile debris, no admission, no satellite data consistent with a shoot-down. 5. Landing on a remote base. Popular on social media was the theory that MH370 landed secretly on Diego Garcia, a U.S. military base in the Indian Ocean. Proponents suggest it was hijacked or diverted for political or military reasons. However, there is no evidence of such a landing. U.S. authorities denied involvement, and satellite coverage makes it unlikely. 6. Cyber hijack/remote control. Some speculate the aircraft was taken over remotely by hackers or military systems. While Boeing 777s have digital systems, experts say they cannot be easily hijacked in such a way. 7. Paranormal and conspiracies. When evidence is scarce, wilder theories flourish. Alien abduction, a wormhole or Bermuda Triangle-like anomaly, a conspiracy involving multiple governments hiding the truth. While fascinating, these lack tangible evidence. Part 8. The family's agony. For the families of the 239 people aboard, MH370 is more than a mystery, it is an unending nightmare. Many relatives camped outside Malaysia Airlines offices, demanding information. Tensions often boiled over, with confrontations, protests, and heartbreak broadcast worldwide. Some clung to hope their loved ones were alive, perhaps held somewhere secretly. Others accepted death but demanded accountability. Even years later, memorials and vigils continue. The lack of closure remains devastating. One mother was quoted, "Without wreckage, without bodies, I cannot say goodbye. I cannot accept it." Part 9. The search efforts. The search for MH370 became the most expensive in aviation history, costing over $200 million. Phase 1. South China Sea, March 2014. Nothing. Phase 2. Southern Indian Ocean, March 2014 to 2017. Sonar scans of 120,000 square kilometers. Nothing. Phase 3. Private search by Ocean Infinity, 2018. Covered 112,000 square kilometers with advanced underwater drones. Still nothing. The ocean floor in the region is treacherous, with trenches deeper than Mount Everest is tall. It is possible the wreckage lies in an unmapped abyss. As of today, only small debris fragments have been recovered. The main fuselage, engines, and black boxes remain missing. Part 10. The Black Boxes Mystery. The flight recorders, the black boxes, are crucial to solving crashes. They record cockpit voices and flight data. Yet MH370's black boxes have never been found. Their locator beacons emit signals for about 30 days after a crash. Searchers were unable to detect them in time. Without them, the cause of the disappearance remains speculation. Part 11. The Legacy of MH370. MH370 changed aviation forever. Airlines adopted stronger tracking systems to ensure no plane can vanish so completely again. Governments recognized the need for global cooperation in aviation safety. For the public, MH370 became a symbol of how even in the modern age, mystery and uncertainty still exist. It also exposed how fragile communication and accountability can be in aviation disasters. Part 12. Why it haunts us. The reason MH370 captivates us is not just tragedy. It is the void of answers. In most crashes, wreckage and black boxes eventually provide closure. Here we have none. Only fragments, theories, and silence. It is a reminder of human vulnerability against nature's vastness, and perhaps against human error or secrecy. MH370 is not only an aviation case. It is a story of families without closure, governments under scrutiny, and the enduring human need for truth. Conclusion. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off on a clear night in March 2014. It never landed. 239 souls vanished into the dark. The world searched, speculated, and grieved. Yet the ocean kept its secret. Until the wreckage and black boxes are found, MH370 will remain a ghost flight, a riddle carried on the waves of the Indian Ocean, the plane that never landed.